you rub that dot off? Okay. Can you confirm that there's only one dot?
Microscope.
That is true. We could get into that kind of stuff. Can you rub the dot off? Just try to rub the dot off. That's not going off, right? Okay. Got the dot. Now, this is kind of to get us started. We'll come back to this later, but I'm gonna as most of you are probably familiar with the setup, I'm doing a magic trick. So I'm gonna make the dot disappear. I'm actually gonna throw it to the woman that I was talking to earlier from Des Moines. You ready? You gotta catch it. Here it comes.
Okay.
Did you get it?
No.
You did. Now, where do some of you think the dot is?
On the back side.
Down there?
Oh.
Some of you might think it's there.
No, you didn't.
I didn't turn it right.
Hold it up
And turn it. So you want me to show you the other side?
like that.
Now I'm going to put a second dot on. Now that's interesting that you think that. So now there's a dot here and there's a dot back here. See? 2 dots. I can only put 2 dots on. I haven't quite mastered 4 dots. Actually, I don't know if there's a way to do 4 dots, but I can do 2. So 1, 2, and then both of them are off. Why do you guys not think, well, and I'll put the other one back on back here. There it is. Why do you guys think that I'm not magical? What?
No such thing as magic.
Ah, interesting. What evidence do you have that there's no such thing as magic? That's for anybody. What evidence do we have that there's no such thing as magic?
That TV show that shows The Secret, so...
There's always a way to do it.
That's what?
There's always a way to do it.
Oftentimes there is a naturalistic explanation for things, but that I don't know if I buy that that's an evidence for there not being magic. What evidence do you have that I am magical?
You just performed a magic trick.
But you don't believe that.
I don't. I doubt it.
You doubt it, okay. Skepticism, we talk about that in science a lot. The point with this is that a lot of students come to science class with some deep reservations about some of the most important ideas about science, things like evolution, things like deep time, things like that. But yet, and a lot of times the reason for that is because, and this is kind of a little bit of a side conversation, a lot of times the reason for that is because they have religious beliefs that seemingly contradict those scientific ideas. And the reason I do that magic trick is I actually get students to wrestle with the idea that they don't think I'm magical. They look for another explanation that we could get evidence for. And with the students, I would actually ask them, what could you do to test this idea? And even some of the students figure it out. They actually are able to do the trick, which all I'm doing is flipping it in my hands this way. And so when I move it, I flip it. And so when there's no dot, as I bring it up, I flip it up. So it is a trick. But I don't tell the students that. A lot of them figure that out, and I say, how do you know that's how I'm doing it? That's nice that you found a natural or a way to do it without magic, but it doesn't mean that I'm not magical. And so it gets at this idea that we don't really have evidence for these magical beliefs, but we also don't have evidence against them. And so science is one way of knowing. Religion, magic, supernatural, all that stuff is another way of knowing. I wouldn't necessarily put magic and religion in the same boat, but they're different kinds of knowing. They're based on different things, whereas science we base it on a certain kind of evidence. And so since we're going to be talking about the nature of science today and history to teach the nature of science, I wanted to start out with that activity.